Hello, good evening and happy Sunday everybody. You're here with Sandra's Stamp and Craft Studio again on our regular Wednesday and Sunday lives. Been a busy day. I've not long been home, so I've just been scooting around trying to get ourselves organised. So today I'm going to go through a technique with you that's been quite popular just lately. I've seen loads of it, and our very own Jackie, who's one of my team, just a Global Inspiration Stamp Team member, who've just done a technique weekend last weekend. She did that, and then one of the other members, Maureen, has also done it recently, but it's really popular, so I thought let me have a blind attempt at it myself here on this evening, just to share that with you, because it's quite popular, quite easy to do, but very effective. So let me get you down onto the table, just get the cameras lined up and move you across. So I'm going to just be showcasing very quickly one of the new papers that's coming. I like to give you sneak peeks as we go along, leading up to the new catalogue. So the new annual catalogue comes out on the 6th of May. So Florals in Bloom is beautiful papers. These are all the colours. You know, I like to put them in bold Sharpie pen on the back of the packet because this is far too tiny for you to read. So these are all the colours that are highlighted. Now I've highlighted Cloud Cover, Darling Darling, Secret Sea, Strawberry Slush and Timid Tiger. They are the five new ink colours we have this year for the next 2 years. So some of the papers are here. I've got a feeling I might have run these ones through to you before already, but I'll just give you a quick highlight of some of the papers in there. They are all bloom, lovely blooms on here. I think that's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got to be another one somewhere, and it'll be that one. Okay, so they are your 5 papers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so I'm going to be using this one on the top tonight. I do love these colours, really, really pretty. So I'm going to be using that one. Got some cardstock ready, so let's get this show on the road. So for my base card, I'm going to have Petunia Pop, which goes really lovely, and then the Bubble Bath. Okay, so we've got those ones there. Just going to tilt that camera very, very slightly. That's it, get you in shot a little bit better. So my base card's going to be from this one, so I'm going to take that out. Haven't got a base already cut. Take a sheet of that one first. Not sure if we're going to have a contrast or not, but we'll start off with this. It is going to be a 10th fold, so we need to score this in half across the middle. Okay, whatever your card size is, you're going to score through the middle. For us, it's 14.85, and this way in half. This way we will cut. So you either do cut and score or score and cut, whichever way you like to do it. So that's my card for this evening. That one will go at the back of the packet. So that's that one. So just going to grab my bone folder and run that along the edge there. Okay, now this card should be cut, but we don't want the full front on here. So we can actually get away with just cutting this a little bit smaller. So just bear with me. I think that was 24 centimetres on here, yeah. So 24 centimetres in total on this piece. So 24 is there. I've scored it in half just so that you know that that is the half that we normally use. I'm going to cut that one off there. Okay, and then that is my card. Now the next one I'm going to have on here as a layer is the Bubble Bath, because I think these colours go really nicely, and it pulls out the pinks that are in here. So I'm going to take this piece here and cut another section, and this one I'm going to have at 10.5 by 8. I'm using Jackie's measurements from the other day. So we're going 10.5. In fact, let's go 8 this way, and then 10.5 the other. 10.5 is the width of the card, so we know where that's going to be. So what we're going to do is place this on here so there's a little bit of a border. Now, I like the idea of getting this in the middle because that's just how I operate. But what that's going to do is give you the difference in the gap when we tear. So we're going to tear from here to down here somewhere, just randomly. Hold them together. Hi everybody, hi Rhonda, Sandra. And if you've seen the Global Inspiration Stamp Team presentations, then will have already seen some of this. Just going to try and get those coming a little bit different there. So we're just going to tear those across. We want this lovely feathery edge along here. You can control it a little bit with your nails, and you're just going to come down here like so. Okay, so there are our two sections. We're going to put this underneath. So you're going to attach that one underneath. They kind of follow in the same line. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so all we're going to do here is put some adhesive on here, just about where my thumb was, which was where the piece of paper is going to end. So it's going to be a straight line. Let's get my little pot there. And then this one is going to come underneath. The other way, turn it over. Turn them over together, didn't I? No, it was that way. So just going to have those two layers showing like so. It's just staggering it, that's all we're doing. Staggering it there and staggering it there, making sure that the sides are level, because you've cut them to 10.5, that will all align perfectly. If there's a slight hang, then you can just guillotine that off afterwards. Okay, so these other two pieces, we want to have the reverse of that. So we want to have, one is going to come, going to go that way, aren't they? And then that one on the top. So we've got that piece coming there and that piece coming there. Now we're going to put a piece of paper behind here underneath from the papers, but these are going to be the two pieces coming along the bottom there. So what we can do is just glue those together. Hi Angela, joining as well. Just going to glue that piece down that side, line those edges together. I'm going to just turn mine round and do the same this end. Okay, so I've caught one edge, I'll catch the other edge. Hi there, Gillian. So I'm just lining those two pieces up. If I put it straight on the table, you can actually slide it a little bit. Just to, oops, not that much. I'm trying to do it in mid-air instead of flat on the table. Flat on the table, you get a much better edge. So these two all tied up nicely. So this will go on here eventually. Now what we need on here is a piece of the designer series paper. So we're just going to cut a piece of that. I'll pop that out of the way. We're going to cut this to about 10.5 by 11.5. 10.5 will be the width, so that's the width of the card going across. So I want this one to be 11.5. Okay, it's just a random piece, but I don't want to waste too much of our. So 10.5 is for the width of your card. So that will come through on there. Cut that off and discard that piece. And I think we should be ready to go. So bring this back on. So our piece of paper is going to go under here. It doesn't have to go all the way to the top. Just going to pop that in there like so. We're only going to place it in. We don't stick it down. You do not want to stick it. Just emphasize that before you start. We're just going to lay that one down on there, and we're going to glue this piece here level with the top of that card. So we want to basically cover where that pink area is, I think. So just maybe a little bit over the edge. And then we're going to close this onto this free piece of card here. So that's going to go there. So that's adhered on there. You'll see this one's moving. So all we're going to do now is to put this piece on the bottom. That's going to go on there, and that's going to be our little piece in the center there. So kind of I like to put my fingers on there. So if I say there to there, and I'm going to put some adhesive on this piece, not on the purple at the bottom, just on that piece there. Okay, because remember this is the back of the card. This is the bottom of your card, so you kind of want this to be level along the bottom and up the sides there. Okay, because we're using a Tombow, we love our Tombow. We want that just to be adhered down like so, and there's the messy piece on the inside. Now we don't need to worry about that. We've loosened this a little bit because we've got some lighter weight paper in the middle instead of cardstock. So what we're now going to do is to take another piece of our card, and just from that card I'm actually going to cut this whole piece off. So instead of me making that other card, we could have just had a panel. It's up to you whether you want to go all the way to the top, or I'd take it just slightly down. Okay, like so. And this will go on the inside of the card, and that will hide up all our gubbins there. So this piece here, it's not really messy, it's just doesn't look good, does it? So we're going to cover that inside up like so. Okay, make it all nicely aligned on there. So it just covers that up. It's just a different technique, but it's doing the rounds. It's very, very popular at the moment. There's another one that I'm going to do for you. where are we today? We are Sunday. On Wednesday, I think I should be fine for Wednesday, 9 o'clock. I'll check the diary when I go back in the other room. But I've got another technique for that. If you're into Easter cards, I'm going to be doing something that it might be good for your Easter celebrations. So I have got a little piece on there that's hung over. So I'm just going to take the baby trimmer, which I had here. I just want to take that little tiny piece on the edge there. If we have used the paper trimmer, because the little bar slides, that will whisper that up very, very slightly. And that was just a little tiny little feathery piece there. Pop that over there for the bin, and this side is all fine. Okay, she says that, but there's still a little bit overhanging there. Take that just a tiny little piece further. Because I'm going through several layers, I don't think that this was a very wise idea, because there's a little tiny notch there. Let me just see off camera. I think I've got another trimmer over here, an older one. It's hard to cut through several layers at a time unless you've got a really heavy duty cutter. Why is that going so heavy? It just does not want to go. Because I've got the second layer on there, haven't I? That's why, because I've got double thickness there. It's my fault, because I've got double thickness on here and it just does not want to bite. But hey, this is because I've made the mistake, so you don't have to. So I'm going to show you how we can quickly correct that. A metal ruler and a craft knife. Okay, I work on a self-healing mat here. So because this is too thick at the bottom, it just cannot cope on the cutter. All I'm going to do here is take the metal ruler and my craft knife and just cut that through. You just do it a few times and that will go through each thickness. I was once told a long while ago that each layer of card or paper you have, you stroke it with the knife just that once through. Make sure that's all nice and level. Take those out of the way. And then we'll do the same this side. I am right-handed, so I do need to do this side, this way round. That tiny little piece, because it was too thick to go through. Okay, and that's all broken away. So there we go, a nice little quick fix, and it's all nice and smooth now, so that's good. So again, I've shown you the hiccups and how to fix them. So what we're going to do now is we want to create this fault line. We just want to take this edge and just kick it up a little bit. Now I haven't kicked it all the way to I haven't glued it all the way to the edge. I don't think I did. Did I go right to the edge? Here's get my tweezers under there. If you can get some scissors or something just to take that edge, we're just going to bring this back and just whisper it all up. All right, so hopefully you can see that. Let me just bring that screen in for you if you like, so you can see a little bit closer. Okay, and a little bit more. Oops. Not that far, it's just gone a little bit. There we go. So all we're doing is just wisping this back and then rolling that back up here. Now what I would love to try with this, I haven't got any yet, but the Stampin' Up! Is bringing out the scrapbook papers. Now those of you who are scrapbookers will like to see our cardstock we use here generally is all solid core all the way through. Oh, thanks, Joy. It is a fun technique. I've seen so many of them, and then Jackie did it at the weekend, and I know Maureen's done it recently as well. So I'm just guiding this along and just twisting that up and just roughing it up a little bit. You can do it with your fingers once you get started and just have that along there. This is what causes the fault line. Okay, I'm just trying to get that piece at the edge there up. It will come. Just ruffle those edges. It's supposed to be a fault line, so it's like a crevice, a crevasse, or where the land has slid or whatever. It's just going to be tatty. Just rough those. Okay, I think there must have been a little bit more glue that end. Okay, but these are just coming up. So you could use, like I say, scissor blade or tweezers or just something to roll. I like the tweezers, especially this way around, because you can get hold of it. So you can literally roll that over the edge of the tweezers. Okay, like so. So all nice and rough. Now, what I say about the core cardstock, our cardstock is coloured all the way through. The new scrapbook papers have got a light and a dark, and they are not. Some of the card is not. It's going to be a white core, so it's going to be really nice for you to tear and get that lovely white layer in the middle there as well. So that will be fun to try this again once we've got those in our hands. Okay, so I'm just using tweezers just along the edge. The glue didn't go all the way to the edge, just roughing it up a little bit. Okay, and then the same on this layer. I like just about curl over there. Okay, rough that along. Go from both angles. Okay, there we go. We're all roughed. Just it is a fun technique. It's because it's no precision. It's just you literally just play with it. There we go. So I'll bring it up to the camera for you in a sec, just so that you can see that is how the effect is going to be. It's kind of like a torn look, but it's all just roughed up. Now, if you wanted to, you could run ink along those edges. If you wanted to, you could just make that a little bit darker. If you use the cardstock that's going to have the white pigment, white layer through the middle, the core, then that will give you a lovely effect as well. I will come back and revisit this technique then. And then to hide all of the gubbins up on the inside, we've covered that with a quarter sheet of card. Okay, so that's where we are to start with. Now there's all sorts of different ways you can decorate this. You could stamp on here. You could texturize, because it's a layer and it's going to be stiffened with this. You could actually emboss those layers before you ruffle them. Okay, the paper on here is just going to be your shining focal point. So we need to have a greeting on here. We need to have something as a focal point. Now, I know I've shown the flowers recently, the new flowers, but I'm just going to see what else I've got on the table here. Simply Said. I have Simply Said on the table. I was using it yesterday. There it is. So we have Simply Said is the stamp set. This is a really good go-to one because it's got lots of sentiments, the everyday sentiments. Absolutely Joy. Yes, the spatula end of the Take Your Pick tool, which is the other side of the table. Unless it's on here. Is this on here? Yes, it is. I've put mine on the pokey tool on my brush. So this is a Take to Pick tool. This little spatula on here would work well as well. Okay, so you can just slide that underneath. Okay, and just flick that. It's very wafer thin as well, so just be careful you don't bend it, but it's a great little spatula, so you can just slide that under there. Really, really useful. So I'm going to put that back to the pokey tool, because I put these together because I find I'm using this to get the dies apart from the card, and then I poke the last little pieces out. So that's my combination, and then the other ones are the other extra elements are separate. So that's my Simply Said. And then I was going to say, to go on to here, I will use the stamps on here. Let's see what's over there. No. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to take the I'm going to do some more cutting. Now, this is how I left my stamps and dies last night. I wouldn't recommend this. I'm prepping for an event that's coming up, and I've been cutting lots of pieces, and these are some of the spare pieces. There's my stamps and there's the dies. They haven't made it onto magnet yet. That is tomorrow's job. They will be on magnets, but I do want to take some flowers. Now I have used that one a little bit, so I'm going to take this one this time, and the little tiny one, I want to show you the accident that one's had. Quite a poorly accident. So I'm going to stamp this one, and I'm going to have the stamp for the solid image as well that matches it. Doop-a-doop-doo. Not that one. Take that one off. I'm going to have the stamp there, the stamp there. Now this is a different stamp. I've not used this one before, but there is find a focal point on here that's going to work for you for lining things up. I made a Sharpie tick on here, an arrow upwards, thinking that is the top. So I'm going to put, you can see these stamps, hopefully you can, at the top here, there is a 3-prong petal. So there's a little tiny pieces of the petal there. So there's a 3 on their own. So here there's a 2 spaced out, 2 spaced out. So I'm going to use that 3 as being the top of my stamp. Okay, so arrow facing upwards. Okay, then I'm going to grab another block, and then this one's got the arrow that way. So I'm going to find the equivalent. So this is my 3, and I'm going to put that on there. So I know that that is facing upwards. So where that arrow is, that is the top of my stamp. And then we'll know when we do the die cutting for some dies on their own, there's the 3 again. So if that is facing upwards, we could actually, I've got Scotch tape on here, so we could actually mark that with an arrow up there. We know that that's the top. Okay, so in the past I have been known to put a little dot on the actual dies to line them up. So when you've got 2 parts like this, you can put a dot on the inside and a dot on the outside. The only danger with that is that the Sharpie pen can actually transfer onto the die plate if you're not careful, because it's not porous. It is going to sit on there as a shiny surface. It's going to sit there, and then it could transfer to a piece of your card. So that's a little bit of a warning if you mark your dies directly. And I've put that on there, so we're going to let that dry a little bit. This is another pair. These are the ones that had a little accident. Believe me, they went up into the rollers on the die cutting machine, and they literally went up into the gubbings, and I had to get the tweezers to get them out. And then I've been trying to flatten them, so I've been cutting those upside down. And then this is going to be used for the leaves, those 2 for the stamps. So let's get cutting. In here we've got probably a garden green, I think. So I've got a garden green on the table. The shades of green do vary considerably, so you can mix and match to your heart's content. So I'm going to use a little piece of this one on here, because that will blend in there nicely, and that's the green for my leaves. Okay, so I'm going to run that one through on the plate. Got the little machine here, just get them out of the way. There we go. So this one here. Oh, that's Smudge saying hello. She's saying, Mummy, you've been out all day. Just run that one through. These leaves are gorgeous. They come out from the die really, really easily. And they have got detail on them. So going back to my brush I just mentioned, I'm going to run that through. Take the lid off the pokey end. Just take that through. Just to give that a little bit of help, just in there. There we go. And they do come away so easily, so nicely. Just be gentle taking them out, because they have got detail in the actual veins of the leaves, so they will separate. But those can just be snipped in little pieces, 4 little petals, and then used with your flowers. So that one can go away. Back into the scruffy tray. So I'm going to do one of the petunia. I'm going to use the large one in the petunia. So I've lined these 2 up so that they've got the equivalent pieces lined up, and just put some Scotch tape on there. So it's not a mess, it's just, it just keeps them lined up nicely. And you can store them like that, like I have with this one. So now if I just release that, I'm just pressing around here gently, and then just picking it up from the back here, and the flower will come away. Okay, so there's my image, and look how detailed those are in there. Can you see all the little die cuts in there? It's just really, really pretty. And then I'm going to do the same for the lighter card, our bubble bath. Now I don't seem to have many small pieces of this. I'm not sure that these are going to be big enough. Let's just try it. Oh yes, we can get away with that, I think. So I don't think we're actually going to need the stamped images today. This set's really versatile because you can you can do the, I know I have shown you the stamps and the dies, and then I've done them on the rounder one, but this is really cute. I've done a sample, I can't show you the samples, but I've been doing some work yesterday for our upcoming class at the Grange, the Grain. I've got this here. So I showed you before about this. We're coming up to the closing date. We've got filling up nicely, but we have got until it is on the other graphic. This is the older copy I first printed. There is a date on there that's gone out publicly of the 4th of April for the cut-off date. So we do need to just be starting to pull those numbers together. Okay, so take that one off there. And then I might do them the other way around as well. Just to do another little one in there. By taping them together like this, you can lift them off the card together and they can just stay together until the Scotch tape gets a little bit tatty. And then just cut some more. We like our flowers in 3s, don't we? Just going to remove that and then just poke that through. Flick that up and they all fall out really, really lovely. Okay, so I've got a couple there like so. I've got that one. And the leaves, I'm just going to quickly snip those apart. So on here, I'm just going to leave a tiny piece of tail on that one. Just line these up. Smooth that one off there. And then we have another leaf there. You're not going to see the bottom of the stems because you can hide them under the flowers themselves. This one's still got a little stem up there, so just trim that one down. Just round it off. And then that one can go as it is and just use the tip of that one as well. So we'll see how many of those we need. I am just going to grab a little piece of sponge. And I think I've shown you this before. When I've used the sponge and I've had another colour on there, all I do is just give it a little haircut, take that off and go again. Okay, so I'm going to use the same ink, the Petunia Pop ink. And we don't go over our project. So I just want to put some extra little textures on here, just a little bit around the edges. I'm going to go around one way and then I'll come back the other way. The sponge is just that little bit softer than the sponge dauber. I do use both. You do see me use both of those. But this is a bit more feathery. And then just to catch the other sides. There we go. If you want to just smooch a little bit over, you can. Just changing that colour slightly so that it can stand out from the base card. Okay, I'll do the same with this. I like to stick my knuckle in the centre here to shape those flowers. It just rounds those edges nicely. Just gives it a little bit of shading. Hi Debbie. I'm just going to go around those ones. Again, if you want to just colour that slightly, just a little bit to stand out from the base card, you can. And then this one's going to be in the bubble bath. Look at that. It's a bubble bath. So because I've done the darker one, had I done the lighter one first, then I wouldn't have bothered with a haircut. Just cut that off. Let's get around here. Because this is such a pale colour, you probably won't notice much difference. Just do those edges. And we're leaning over the ink pad so that we don't leave splatters all over our piece of work. A little bit of smooch in the middle. There we go. So next I'm going to do a sentiment as well. We'll lay these out in a sec. Put a knuckle in the centre. And then just going to do a little cluster, I think. I'm going to put the cluster at the top and I think I'll put the sentiment at the bottom. Okay, we'll do some dimension on these. We'll put some on foam pads and we're going to do the little bits that go in the middle. So, one more little bit of die cutting. So I have a tiny piece here and I mean tiny piece. These are the tiny centres of the flowers. Okay, you've got some different circles and things as well, but these are little tiny ones I've been playing with the last couple of days. I'll get 2 in that piece and just take another piece of this. Put this one on here and we'll get another one in there, in that little diddy corner. They are so cute. Great way of using your scraps. I'll show you the little pot in a sec. I've been playing with the new ink colours and doing some prep for, as I say, for our event. And I've got a whole pot of these little tiny flowers that will be needed. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so they'll just come out there. I didn't quite release. There we go. There's 3 of those. Goes back on the die sheet. Then this one, do the same. Rub that over. They've all come out, but they've still in here. 1, 2, and 3. Now, aren't they just darling little things? Back on the sheet. My little pot. Now, I don't like to think how many I've got in here, but I just want you to... I've been showing you the ink colours, haven't I? These are our 5 new ink colours. These are the ones that are coming in the new catalogue for the next 2 years. So all of these shades in here have all been cut umpteen times whilst sitting in front of the television. So had a little bit of a play yesterday. So that's those ones. I'm going to grab some dimensions now. Some Stampin' Dimensions here. Go and grab my tweezers. Okay, so I'm going to place these now and then I'll do the sentiment down the bottom here. So to shape my flowers, I like to put my knuckle in the centre here. Okay, you can either put the dimensional on the back there and have them raised, or you can have them with Tombow. So these ones I think I'll do with Tombow. Just in the centre, place that down there. And as you know, I use the Tombow lid just to hold that in position. Okay, just take the curved edge of the lid, that just keeps that shape. Okay, and then these 2 are just going to come round and about wherever you like. Okay, so that needs to just reinforce that one. I'm going to keep the dimension, the Stampin' Dimension, I think, for the sentiment in a sec. So let's place that one down there. Now for the centres, I'm going to put these little flowers in because I wanted you to see them today. But you could equally as easily use some gems in there as well. Some nice bling. Okay, so just pop that. Wanted that on the edge of that fault line. Hello Sherry from Southeast Indiana. Lovely to see you. There we go. So then these ones, how I've been fixing these, I'm just looking for my glue dots. I knew I had some out. So I have got 3 flowers, so I'll need 3 glue dots. So I'm going to tear that off so it's free and easy. Now if we take your pick tool, I had last night over here. There's hiding. Sorry for that. That seems to be hiding. I haven't taken it anywhere, so I will use my tweezers. To take your pick. Oh, there it is. There we go. So the other part of the take pick tool has got the putty end on here, and it's got the ball tool, the small and the large one inside there. But these tools are brilliant. The putty will last for a long while. You do not have to keep moving it up every time. You've got a little lid on there. As long as you keep that on there, it will stay supple enough for you to be able to pick things up. So I need 2 of the smaller one, the lighter ones, because I've got 2 dark flowers. So I'm going to put 2 onto the glue dots and then 1 dark one to go on the pink. Okay, so that is the easiest way to pick them up. Now they are sitting on glue dots. Okay, so I'm going to take my tweezers or scissors or the little pokey tool, maybe pokey tool, and just lift that off gently off on the glue dot, and then place that in the center. Slide that off, and that's as easy as that. So do the same with these. Take that one and place that in the center. Take that one and place that in the center. Okay, like so. Now I like to just press those down again, just to make sure that they've caught, using the rounded end of the Tombow lid. Okay, so that's the flowers down. Now we've got some leaves here, haven't we? So I like to just tuck these in. I just put some adhesive on the bottom end. So because my fingers are quite large, I like to just use the tweezers, get my fingers out of the way. So just a little bit on the end there, and that's going to come tucking in down the side there. Leave them as long or as short as you want them to be. Okay, but you can kick them up a little bit on the ends there as well. So I've got another one coming down here. So we could have that one coming through there maybe. It's quite a long one, that one. That would be quite nice. So I'll pop a little bit of Tombow on there, just on the bottom, and I like to just slide that in there like so. Go, press that down. And then we can use threes, so I'll use this other smaller one. So where would you like that one? Could go in there. I don't want them to be too routinely shaped. A 2 and a 1. Yeah, I'll go that way. Try not to make it look like a little triad, because it just is not really natural like that. There we go. So I hope you like those. If you really want to add a little bit more bling, that's the retired one. That's the current one. I'm going to add a little bit more bling by putting one of the gems in the centre. My gems have all been shuffled here. I usually keep the clear ones on the top, so I'm going to look in here, see if I've got any really small ones. I'm probably getting a bit low on those. These are medium ones, so I'm going to try some of those. The ones that are just trying to fall off the edge there. We've still got a little pink centre in there, but I'm going to put a bling in the middle of those. There we go, press them down. And one in the centre there. Aren't they sweet? So cute. So how are you liking this bundle? Beautiful card. Oh, thanks, Joy. It's so lovely and so different. You love it. Oh, excellent. Nice to please you, Anne. So I just need the sentiment now. So I think I'm going to put this onto a white strip. I've got some whites on the table. Possibly not. I have white over here though. I normally have lots of my scrap pots out, but we're just a little bit quick tonight for being out. So there's one little strip in there, and that will be fine. I'm going to flag the ends in. So I'm going to think I'm going to use, well, it's a thank you or a happy birthday. I do a happy birthday because it's a larger one. There we go. Block. Pick that one up like so. So I'm just going to tap that across the block there. And when it's a scrap of white, I don't tend to do a proof stamp first, because at the end of the day, it's only a piece of card, and if it's wrong, I'll just pop it in the bin. Okay, I recycle a lot. Oh, look at that. We'll go with that. That's not bad. Okay, so again, that was a Petunia Pop ink and the Bubble Bath ink. Card, sorry, the two colours we've used today. Just eyeball that to be the same as the other end. Snip that away. Maybe shorten that one a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just going to flag these in the end. So a little tiny snip in the middle and then snip to the centre. And snip to the centre there. Like so. And then the same this end. So we are Sunday today. You'll see me a couple more times before before Natalie comes over from the States. So you will see Natalie doing some lives with me, and then Joy, who's just commenting there, Joy is coming over to see me in June. So you'll see her live with me, which will be lovely. So she joined me last year as well for a short stay. Got longer this year, haven't we, this time? So I'm just going to take some of the smaller dimensionals here and just snip some of these ends out. Here. We use every piece of our dimensionals. There's no waste. Okay, it's just for that sentiment here. Peel one of those off on that end. And one piece for this end. As it's a long one, I'm going to snip another one out of the centre here. And pick that one off. There you go, pop that in the centre. Then it's well supported. 1, 2, 3. And there we go, that can come along the bottom there. Do have fun with this though. If you're one of our customers or team member, then you will have access to the PDF that we've put together just with some basic what we've used and the measurements and things. We encourage you to make a copy of the ones that we've done and what we've shown. So this is why I've done this one tonight. And you play around with those textured layers because you're strengthening it on the inside with another layer to cover up all the workings. Then you could actually texturize this. I might do another one of those tomorrow and post it as a comparison. Maybe the colours, the back to front, the other way. But the embossing folder gone through. Just to give you some more dimension, really, some more texture. Okay, so there's some lovely comments coming in here. Thank you very much, ladies. I love these colours. These are me. I love these colours. So I love the purples and the pinks coming in together. I'm going to case another demonstrator. I've seen a fabulous card done this week. I'll just bring you back to me. Take that one off. Oh, low battery. Oh dear, I better wrap up quickly, hadn't I? Okay, so I have seen another card with a lovely card done with those similar colours, the different shades of purples through to pinks, and that sparked my appetite as well. So I'm going to give credit to the lady who I saw. I've taken a screenshot, and I'm going to do something similar. So we might do that on Wednesday night. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do ahead for a change. So come back and join me. We'll keep those colours going, and I will see you again on Wednesday. And I can't think of anything else. There's no other news really. Just a reminder for the event that's coming up. That's a biggie at the moment. So yes, I'll show you all about that one after the event. So take care and stay safe, and I will see you all